In this manga, the story begins at Toma City Hoino Academy, a peaceful place where students focus on their education. However, in one corner of the school, a girl, feeling hungry, contemplates whether to wait for her prey to grow more or to dig right in. This girl, with a bewitchingly beautiful appearance, reveals herself as a demon who has risen. As the scene shifts, the protagonist, Kyugi-kun, finds himself in the student guidance room of the Public Morals Committee without knowing how he got there. He is greeted by the same demon girl, who welcomes him with a sly smile and a lollipop in hand. She suggests that she's been waiting for him and plans to gobble him up, referring to consuming his soul. Kyugi, confused, asks if she intends to eat him, to which she mischievously confirms. The atmosphere is tense yet playful, setting the stage for a romantic comedy with a demonic twist. Kanan introduces herself as the daughter of Beelzebub, the great demon of gluttony, and refers to herself as Kanan the Gourmet. She reveals her true identity and intentions, stating that her position on the Public Morals Committee was just a disguise to devour the souls of high school students. However, instead of being terrified, the male student reacts with enthusiasm and gratitude, expressing that he has always dreamed of being eaten by a demonic seductress like Kanan. Surprised by his reaction, Kanan is caught off guard and even begins to appreciate his admiration, remarking that she likes his response. The student, on his knees, continues to praise her, pointing out that even her appearance is like demon girl cosplay, which he finds attractive. Kanan, a demon girl, is surprised when a boy misinterprets her intention to eat him in a sexual way. Flustered, she clarifies that her horns and appearance aren't part of a cosplay. Despite her initial shock, she realizes this misunderstanding might be an opportunity to capture his soul, as she contemplates taking advantage of the situation. However, she reflects on the foolishness of the boy, considering that a demon like her, who has lived for thousands of years, would never have relations with their food. Kanan nervously exclaims that she has never done anything like this before, declaring that she's been a virgin for several thousand years. Meanwhile, a guy excitedly urges her to proceed, but she quickly stops him, calling for a timeout. She hesitates, pointing out that such action should only be shared between people who genuinely like each other. He tries to reassure her, saying that she doesn't need to worry about him. He stood before her, eyes wide and voice trembling. "Because I like you now, senpai. Damn it. This guy's coming on way too strong," she thought, feeling cornered by his intensity. "You only called me here because you like me too, right, senpai?" His voice was hopeful, almost pleading. "Like you," she murmured, suddenly realizing she had lived for thousands of years and never had a first love. As she looked at him, she thought, maybe she should actually check him out visually. Her eyes widened in surprise, then narrowed as she took a closer look. Oh no, he's hot. Her heart raced, thudding loudly in her chest. Wait. Let me think about this. Badump, badump. The sound echoed in her ears as she struggled to process her emotions. Is this lower life form really? Panic set in. Is this okay? I'm a demon, you know. My first love. Her thoughts spiraled, overwhelmed by the realization. She glanced back at him, her voice trembling. I really don't want to hurt you, senpai. He blinked in confusion. Ooh? Her expression softened, guilt washing over her. Somehow, it seems like I'm bothering you. Kanan, the demon girl, is taken aback when the boy suggests she just use her mouth, leading her to angrily dismiss the idea. He then proposes they start by dating instead, which catches Kanan off guard. She hesitantly agrees to this, thinking that she's somehow been tricked into a crazy pact. Despite her initial reluctance and anger, she ends up agreeing to be in his care, marking the beginning of their unusual relationship. The scene humorously concludes with Kanan cursing the boy as a lower life form, while she internally contemplates what she has gotten herself into. Subscribe if you like the video for more content. Thanks. At Toma City Hono Academy, Takakyu Kanan serves as the president of the Public Morals Committee. Known for her stunning beauty and exceptional academic abilities, she is admired by both teachers and students alike. Her reputation as a natural athlete and a Miss Perfect commands respect throughout the school. However, beneath her flawless exterior lies a hidden side that contrasts with her public persona. Takakyu Kanan, while maintaining the facade of a model student at Toma City Honu Academy, is actually a demon, a soul devourer who preys on young humans. By playing the perfect role, she earns the trust of her peers, allowing her to casually approach them with sinister intentions. With a playful yet eerie demeanor, she remarks on how her victims should feel grateful to be eaten by someone as cute as her. As she sips her juice, she mischievously suggests walking home together, only to suddenly spit out the juice in shock, revealing a momentary lapse in her composed demeanor. Kanan is internally shocked as she faces Kyugi Yuji. She can hardly believe that she, a powerful demon, has been sweet-talked into a lover's pact with what she considers a lower life form. When Kyugi suggests that they walk home together, she hesitates and stammers, struggling to comprehend how she ended up in such a situation. Kyugi casually reminds her that they should walk together because he's her boyfriend, leaving her to repeat the word boyfriend in disbelief, trying to process the reality of their relationship. Kanan, caught off guard by her own feelings, briefly swoons and flusters over Kyugi, who she refers to as her food. Struggling to maintain her composure, she reluctantly agrees to walk home with him, although she finds his request outrageous. She tries to assert her dominance by warning him to know his place, hinting that she'll ensure he understands who's in control. As they begin their walk, Kanan notices that Kyugi isn't walking beside her and questions why, trying to mask her internal conflict with a firm demeanor. Despite her attempts to stay in control, her emotions continue to surprise her. Kanan finds herself unexpectedly embarrassed by walking next to Kyugi, realizing it's much more awkward than she anticipated. Flustered, she tries to justify her actions by claiming that, as someone of noble presence, she must always be on guard against potential attacks, and she's using him as a meat shield. Kyugi, ever accommodating, cheerfully agrees to help, offering to come closer and promising to protect her. As he pulls her closer, Kanan's thoughts race, and she awkwardly suggests that they should hold hands, reasoning that it would be dangerous if they were separated. Despite her attempts to rationalize the situation, it's clear that her feelings are starting to get the better of her. Kanan panics at the thought of holding hands with Kyugi, her mind spiraling into an exaggerated concern that it could lead to something as serious as producing an heir. She becomes indignant, suspecting that Kyugi is trying to ridicule her with clever tricks, wondering if he might actually be a demon himself. Torn between her pride and her fear of appearing weak, she resolves that she can't back down now, as it would make her seem fearful, something a demon like her would never admit to. Her thoughts become a chaotic jumble as she tries to figure out what to do, overwhelmed by the situation as she hesitantly contemplates the next step. The boy calls Kanan senpai, which catches her off guard and leaves her flustered. She quickly responds by telling him not to get too chummy with her. In her imagination, she envisions herself walking him with a rope, symbolizing her dominance in a playful and somewhat teasing manner. Then, she confidently says, "As you wish, I've got a firm hold on your hand, right? How do you like them apples?" This shows her attempt to assert control and maintain the upper hand in their dynamic, despite her initial surprise. He enthusiastically responds by saying, "It's awesome." Kanan, shocked, asks, "Are you kidding me?" He continues, explaining how he interprets her actions as a sign that she doesn't want to be away from him, even if it means tying him up. He adds that she wants to subjugate him in both body and mind, claiming he can hear the whispers of her heart and feel her love. Flustered and unable to respond, Kanan stammers, "That's not," before angrily cursing him as a lower life form. As she yells senpai, in frustration, the boy continues to cheerfully call her senpai, completely missing her point. The scene humorously highlights the boy's obliviousness and Kanan's growing exasperation. Kanan is frustrated and overwhelmed by her interactions with Kyugi-kun. She vents to herself, exclaiming that she didn't come to the human realm to play these stupid games. Just being around Kyugi-kun throws her off, leading her to repeatedly shout, "I hate it! I hate it! I hate it!" She reminds herself that she came to the human realm to consume the finest of souls, not to be distracted by these feelings. In her moment of exasperation, she reflects on her true purpose and wonders aloud, "Papa, can I ask you something?" The scene then transitions to a flashback showing Kanan in the demon realm, revealing more about her background and motivations. In this flashback to the demon realm, Kanan approaches her father, the great demon of gluttony, Beelzebub. He warmly greets her, calling her his little sweetheart, and invites her to sit down and eat with him. However, Kanan declines, apologizing and explaining that she's not in the mood for food. Beelzebub, concerned, insists that food is their fuel and expresses his worry for her. Kanan reveals her frustration, explaining that no matter what she eats, nothing tastes good to her anymore. This lack of satisfaction has led her to think about going to the human realm to find something tastier to eat, specifically, human souls. She imagines them as sweet, luscious, and unripe, something that could potentially satisfy her cravings. Beelzebub understands that acquiring these souls won't be easy, but he still worries about Kanan's well-being, knowing that food is essential for their kind. The flashback gives insight into Kanan's motivations and her initial decision to enter the human realm in search of something more fulfilling. Kanan reassures her father, Beelzebub, that she'll be fine and is determined to make things work in the human realm. Beelzebub, however, is skeptical, noting that he's heard this from her countless times before. He reminisces about his own trips to the human realm, mentioning that he also encountered trouble with angels during one of his visits. Kanan thanks him, expressing confidence that if she succeeds, she'll finally find satisfaction. Beelzebub reluctantly gives his blessing, wishing her luck in finding what she's looking for. He quietly adds that he can do without the noise, hinting at his preference for solitude. Kanan playfully reminds him that fine dining is best enjoyed alone, then asks if he's eaten with anyone recently. This exchange highlights the affectionate yet concerned relationship between Kanan and her father, as she prepares to embark on her journey to the human realm. Kanan is bewildered, feeling as though she's hallucinating. Suddenly, Kyugikuen appears, catching her off guard. She's shocked to see him all beat up and wonders where he came from and why he's in such a state. Kyugi, despite his injuries, continues to call her senpai in a weak voice. Kanan reflects on how challenging it's been since she came to the human realm, mostly due to Kyugikuen's antics. She recalls how she had tied his hands and dragged him around the park without saying a word. To her surprise, Kyugi reveals that he was holding on the entire time because she wouldn't let go of him. He continues to affectionately call her senpai, which flusters Kanan even more. Embarrassed and frustrated, she snaps back, insisting that he shouldn't make it sound like she's some clingy girlfriend. Kanan is stunned by Kyugikuen's positive outlook as he excitedly claims it was the most stimulating walk of his life. She angrily warns him not to confuse their accident for pet play, but he cheekily adds that being pampered like a pet wasn't so bad either. Flustered, Kanan denies doing any such thing, but then Kyugi suggests trying something new since they're already at the park. As she starts to get pulled into his pace again, Kanan realizes, with frustration, that he's got her dancing to his tune once more. She internally scolds herself to stop getting so easily influenced by him. Kanan is initially confused by Kyugikuen's intentions but soon realizes he simply wanted to buy croquettes from a nearby shop and share them with her. As they eat, Kyugi praises the croquettes, insisting they taste best on their own. Kanan, skeptical and internally disgusted by the human slop, decides to go along with it anyway. Kyugi notices her hesitation and jokingly accuses her of being disappointed by the croquettes, which he playfully refers to as the Great Croquette. Kanan is caught off guard and denies it, though she half-heartedly suggests that the croquettes might taste better with some sauce. Kyugi, taken aback, asks if she's serious and whether she really minds eating them as they are. The exchange leaves Kanan flustered as she struggles to navigate the situation, once again feeling a bit out of her element around Kyugi. Kanan is puzzled by why Kyugikuen is suddenly so talkative. He passionately raves about the croquette, revealing that he discovered its secret, the golden ratio of 1:1, which he believes is what makes it so delicious. As he dives into a detailed analysis of the croquette's ingredients, Kanan is surprised by his enthusiasm, realizing there's more to him than she initially thought. Amused, she remarks that maybe he has a cute side after all, though she still finds it funny that he's getting so worked up over a single croquette. Despite her earlier skepticism, Kanan decides that indulging in his excitement isn't so bad once in a while. As he eagerly encourages her to dig in, she finally agrees, deciding to eat the croquette as is, enjoying the unexpectedly lively meal. Kanan takes a bite of the croquette and is surprised by how delicious it tastes, noting that it seems even better than usual. Confused, she wonders why, especially since everything she's eaten recently has felt bland. Kyugikun then cheerfully suggests that the reason it tastes better is because he's eating with her, leaving Kanan both puzzled and a bit flustered by his unexpected response. Kanan reflects on Kyugikun's comment and reluctantly acknowledges that maybe food does taste better when eaten together. As she enjoys the croquette, she recalls her earlier belief that fine dining is best enjoyed alone and thinks about how she usually prefers peace and quiet. Despite this, she realizes that sharing the meal with Kyugikun has made it unexpectedly enjoyable, challenging her previous thoughts on dining alone. Kyugikun compliments Kanan, telling her she's cute when she eats. Flustered, she starts to call him a lower life form, but quickly dismisses the thought, saying it's nothing. When Kyugi asks what she's looking at, she nervously replies, "You." The scene ends on a light note, with the narration hinting at the budding relationship between the positive human and the adorable demon, hoping they get along as they continue dating.